After 3 days, I got up, shook it off. The Lord let me get all of my crying and stuff out. And then he gave me strength to get up and go on. And then many of you may know the story, but when we had Jay's funeral, right down here, it was a full gospel then with Pastor John Cherry. It's now from the heart. Over 795 people gave their life to Christ at his funeral. We had about 3,000 people there. Almost 1/3 of the people came forth and gave their life to Christ. So Jay was a seed that went down into the ground to bring forth life. I have opportunities to speak to mothers who are still losing their sons, and we'll get to that. I did a program with a girlfriend of mine down in D.C. yesterday, Torch of Hope. She and her husband, I thought her husband was going to be here today, but they started a program, Torch of Hope, in remembrance of their son that was murdered 2 years ago. And so I talk to people all of the time about the place where we are in our communities with our young people, and that young people are still dying because nobody takes what's happening in community seriously. If they did, this place would be filled. But God is not mad. It didn't take but 12 disciples to bring change that we are here today. Right. So as I said before, it's not the size of the ship, it's the motion of the ocean, the flowing, where are you going? So here I am, alive and well, some 24 years later. My husband and I celebrate him, because if he had not covered me for 24 years, this ministry, I would not have gone anywhere. And I say that because this is men's talk. But let me tell you something. For just as a man, all of the men in here, just as a man, to lose your son or daughter, and then less than a year later, here's your wife called out to speak, and you release her. Hey, it's impossible. Nobody can do it but God. Amen. The whole family is grieving, so I honor him in covering me. If it were not for him remaining and God giving him the strength to release me to do the things that I needed to do for 24 years, I would not be here today. People have been through a whole lot worse, a whole lot less, and can't stay married for 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Can't stay married, and I praise God, all of the hell we have been through as a family. Week before last, we celebrated our 45th wedding anniversary. Amen. And we praise God. And both of us will tell you, and I've mentioned this to Minister Taylor, I'm going to get to the meat of the reason why I'm here in a minute, but I got to get all this churchy, religious stuff out the way. You know, I mean, I'm not saying religious, you know what I mean, but I'm just giving my testimony. But there are two things that are very difficult that no one ever talks about. And that is being a disciple of Jesus Christ and remaining married. Mm-hmm. Those are two of the toughest assignments that you can be given as a Christian. Remaining married, keeping your eyes focused on who God has given you as your spouse or your mate. And the other thing is being clear about who you are as a disciple of Jesus Christ. Those things are very, very, very difficult. And so for my husband and I to still be together, me, he, our family loving the Lord, and here I am crying over my children when Jay died, saying, Lord, crying and screaming, how are my babies going to make it? They cannot live with losing 2 brothers. They cannot live. They cannot live. And Father's Day of this year, my children, my two children, bought their father pictures of them and their families. Them and their families together. But the one that tore me up was the one of my daughter and my son together. Because when I didn't think I was going to breathe again, and I was laying in that floor screaming and crying and hollering and saying, my babies are not going to make it. That when those kids brought that picture in Father's Day, all of the beautiful pictures they had with their families were wonderful. But when I saw that one of them, God said, what did I tell you? Yes. What did I say? And that's what we have to go on today. Not what the world is saying, not what this one is saying, not what you read here, there, or whatever. You got to know the extra resources that God gives you to help you, the tools you need to get forward. But your foundation has to be Him hearing His word in order to move forward. And I thank Him today because my kids went through very difficult times, losing both of their brothers, but today my daughter is being ordained as a licensed minister. My son is a deacon, his wife is a licensed minister. And when I thought that they were cuckoo and it wasn't no hope, God said, what did I say? God is bad. Let's just give God a hand clap right now.